everyone, welcome back to another cut above with Chris. As you've seen from the photograph at the beginning of the video, I have moved back to a double-edged razor. I have not used this for a face shave yet. Gillette Fatboy. I'm not even sure what year I think this is. Let's have a look at the code. Has it got the code on here? It's a G1. No idea what that is or what that means, but it's in excellent condition. It was picked up for me by Troy Hove over in the States, and he sort of cleaned it up, got it looking good for me. And other than a little bit of brassing on the top of the dough there, and I think there's a little bit in here somewhere as well. Where is it? Yeah, there's a little bit just on there. Bit of plate loss on there. But other than that, it's in excellent condition. It really is. So just lock that down there. I've got that on setting number 9. The blade gap appears to be pretty good, both sides, so I'm pretty happy with that. And I've got a brand new Gillette stainless, which was sent to me from Ken Lee over at Ken's Shaving and BSing. One of his sort of recent finds and recent or new favourites. So the soap, as you've probably seen from the start as well, is Holy Call Fougere Bouquet, which I don't really know what a Fougere is, if I'm brutally honest with you. Mickey Lee Soapworks, Cape Verde apparently is a similar sort of thing. It's like a Fougere as well. But what I get from this is it's almost a cologne scent. It is floral, it's sweet. Scent strength out the tub's around about a 3.5 to a 4. It might even be closer to a 3. But I like it. It's really nice. It's very complex, very similar to the lines of Barrister and Man, that sort of thing. When you smell it, you can't quite pick a specific note from it, but it all just works. And that's what I get from that. Very, very nice. Okay, back to this bad boy. The Morrison Forndran 3 bad. 3 bad? It's not that bad. It's not bad. It's not 3 bad. 3 band blowing badger. As you can see, I'm just going to squeeze a good bit of the moisture out. Not all of it, a good bit of it. I'm going to go straight onto this dry soap. Now, Holy Call, this is the donkey milk formulation. It's reasonably firm. It's actually quite a firm soap. I hope you can see it sort of whipping up. I've left a little bit more moisture in the brush today, just to see if I can get a bit better lather to begin with without having to dip the tips. But from looking at this lather already, I know I'm going to have to dip the tips no matter what. I do find with these brushes, natural hair, especially a 28mm knot, you have to load it like the Stallion and really load it like you hate it. And as you can see already, that's looking lovely, but I am going to load it a little bit more than that. In order to get 3 passes out of these brushes, you really need to beat the shit out of the soap and fill that brush up. It's a good sized little tub for getting a load, but as you can see, this brush is massive. Pretty much fills the whole tub up. Right, let's go with that. I'm going to do something I don't normally do as well. I've lost the hair in the tub as well. Just going to wet my face. And I'm just going to scoop out all of this gorgeous goodness. And this lather is the exact same as the Man from Mayfair. I know it's the same formulation essentially, but it's got that beautiful, thick, creamy texture to it. Oh, the scent's really, really nice. It smells, sort of reminds me of an aftershave, or something similar that my dad used to wear.
Can you make some noodles?
Yeah, I can, not right now. I'll make them all up.
Okay.
So I don't normally do this, but I'm just going to get as much on my face as I can. I know you don't really have to. You shouldn't have to, especially with this quality of soap. But on the other hand, I normally just rinse what was in the tub there. I just rinse it away down the drain, so This makes perfect sense to me. Now the tub is pretty much clean. I'll give that a quick rinse at the end and then I'll be done. Oh, I'm really enjoying this set, I tell you. Right, here we go. The Morrison Forndran 28mm 3-band Badger. Let's paint this luxurious, gorgeous load. I mean, you can see how thick that is. I've not even got any water really in this yet. And it needs a lot. This is easily the densest brush I have ever used. It's just so heavily packed with hair. Look at that lather, holy shit. Just dip the tips again. Not that it needed it, but it was just a little bit dry. I don't know about you guys, but that's a pretty damn good lather. Holy crap. And that is absolutely caked. If anything, I've overloaded it, but I'm finding with these natural, especially this natural airbrush, I have to overload it in order to get a great lather from it. Right, I've got 1 day's growth, just over 1 day's growth. I'm just going to start on setting 9. Why not? And just see how she feels. G1 Fatboy with a brand new Gillette stainless. That should be 2 seconds. What's up?
Where my iPad is charging,
Yeah.
when I was watching the TV for about 8 minutes, so I went back and it only had no percent.
Well, you need to make sure it's plugged in right then.
It is.
Alright, well I'll come and look at it. You don't need it anyway, you're not playing it today, are you? Freaking kids and their iPads, I tell you what. I've had the kids off today at school. My daughter had an audition up in Perth for a dance school based out of New York called Joffrey. Nothing to do with Game of Thrones. Now this lather is probably just a bit dry because, as you can see, it's just floating in the water. But it feels amazing. I've got this in setting 9. And I have to be honest and say, it doesn't feel very aggressive. It feels pretty efficient. It's clogging up the razor, the soap. It's probably just a little bit thick, so I'll add a little bit of water with my next. It's just clogging up a bit. So, a water in there, see if that helps. Yeah, that's a bit better. Right. But this razor, with this blade, is lovely. very smooth. Feels very efficient. And that was a damn fine pass, I tell you. Really impressed. This holy cause amazing. Now I've got terribly hard water, really hard water. For any of you guys out there that have got any idea about total dissolvable solids, the TDS that I run in my house is around about 600 to 700 TDS, which is dreadful. And most of that will be made up with alkalines and all other sorts of really hard calciums and things like that. So here we go, I'm just going to paint some of this thick stuff on. I'll just not paint it on but flick it on. Right, so let's dip the tips a bit. That was quite a big dip. Look, it takes longer with this brush, there's no doubt about it. It just takes longer. This it's not as efficient in terms of lathering as a synthetic. I still personally, given the fact that the amount of load that you have to put into the brush, I don't think it makes as good a lather. I think this lather, sorry, it makes as good a lather. This lather is as good as anything I get from a synthetic. But personally, I just think it's a luxury brush, it's a luxury item in terms of your soap, because you need so much of it to get a great lather. I mean, I'm loading 4 times as much into this brush as I do with my synthetics. So in that regard, if you're a tight arse, or you can't afford the soap, or you just don't, you think you're wasting it, it's not a viable option for people like that, you know. And they're not cheap. And that's a 350 Australian dollar brush. So you're paying a premium for a brush, and then you're using a premium amount of soap out of a premium price soap as well. So everything about it, when you go to expensive and large size natural hair, no, it's costing money. I'm just keeping this on setting 9 for the moment. The protection I am feeling from this soap is off the charts. I have to say the razor has got a different angle, slightly different angle to what I'm used to. It feels like I'm holding it just a little bit closer, a shallower angle. It's almost like a 25 degree rather than the sort of stereotypical 30 degree angle. And it could have been part of the reason why I struggled with the head shave. And it's definitely rinsing out much better now. If you love an aggressive shave, however, and you want something like an R41 or a Merca Fougere, this isn't for you. I'm on setting 9 right now, and it's very comfortable. I feel like I've cut myself there. I don't think I have. I never felt anything at the time, it just feels a bit like I've cut myself now that I'm putting water on. slickness. The slickness and the performance on this soap. It really is, I'll say it again, it's the best soap I've used for performance, and the scents are really growing on me. So this isn't a strong scent, it is a lovely, lovely scented soap. I've obviously got a bit of a taste for Fougere. Right, let's just see what we can whip up again. It's looking a bit thin, there's not much happening. Got a little bit in the base of the knot, or the flow through, as it was pointed out to me from Steve in the Suffolk Shaver. Thanks for that, mate, because I was a bit, if I'm honest, a bit puzzled by flow through. I now know what it is. For those of you that don't know what it is, it's basically the flow of the lather from the tips as it goes through the brush and actually flows through the sides. So that's what the flow through is. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to dip the tips of this brush and let's just see if it explodes again, because it should. There's enough soap in here for another 35 passes. Now what I find with these badger brushes, natural hair brushes, you can see it sort of scrubs everything off when you're actually doing the motion of creating and whipping up the lather on your face. But as you can see on the brush, you'll probably see it better than that, that is the flow through working. I didn't know this about natural brushes. I was just thinking I was getting a poor lather on my face, which I was. But once you go like this, you can see it all going on there. You just turn your brush and as you can see, it's pretty incredible. Now, this is things that I am learning myself that people haven't said to me on YouTube. I've never had someone say on YouTube, whenever you're using a large brush from natural hair, the flow through coming through the sides, and it doesn't look like it's making much lather, because those guys, I don't notice it, but whenever they do that and it leaves nothing, they go like that. And it puts the lather on your face, but the lather is coming from the flow through. So you need a brush with excellent flow through, which, as I've said before, is a lather that makes its way from the tips of the brush as you're pushing and swirling and back and forth, however you make your lather. As you can see, it's all around the side. So look at the amount of lather on there. And then all they're doing is painting it on. Now, I never really paid much attention to that because I just thought the brush was doing the work. It is, but it was actually staying on their face. But now that I watch people like the Stallion, Steve and the Suffolk Shaver, it's all the same. It looks very thin and not that great until they go like that. And that is when the lather comes off the brush and paints on. So essentially what you're doing with a natural hair brush, in my opinion, is you're whipping up the lather on the brush, not on your face. It's whipping up on the brush from the flow through of the brush to the outside of the bristles, and then you're painting it on afterwards. That's how a natural hair brush works, in my opinion. That is exactly how it works. It's not like a synthetic that is actually releasing the lather and putting it onto your face as you're scrubbing. It's actually coming off the brush onto your face. Natural hair brushes don't work like that, and I'm only just realising that from using a higher end, fatter knot, which really shows great flow through. And that's, I mean, that lather's just superb. That was my wife passing wind. Very nice, thank you very much for that. Right, let's get that. I'm just going to the sink out. I know the video's getting a bit longer, but I am actually going to lather up again, and I'm going to knock this down to setting 5 and just see what it feels like. So, you can see on the face, there's not much happening there. It makes so much sense to me now. Just going to dip the tips. So I've dipped the tips now, and there's not really any great amount of lather on my face yet. You can see it all on there, so paint it on. I never understood how it worked, literally until I tried doing this lather now. So there you go, there you have it, it's literally that simple. So I'm going to loosen this off now, and I'm going to whip this down to setting 5. I just want to feel what the difference is like on setting 5. That feels lovely actually. My skin feels a little bit irritated, but I think it's because I went from using a I actually prefer setting 5, it's really nice. I don't know how that would be for a full shave, but oh, I'll tell you what. That was some shave. From start to finish, with the brush, with the razor, with the soap, that's just really, really impeccable. No cuts, no weepers, no creepers, nothing at all. No irritation that I can feel. Slight irritation maybe from the setting 9 and maybe just a little bit too much pressure. But other than that, what a shave. Really enjoyed that. Right. Using a Fougere, I want to use a floral, so lavender by Fougere. This is really, really nice scented lavender as well. And don't ask me why, but I don't know whether I'm allergic to lavender. But this one and medicated are the only ones that really give me a burn, and this one really gives me a good burn. It's not uncomfortable. Oh, is that a weeper? No, it's just a spot. It's not actually even bleeding at all. Right, just give me a second. Hope everyone had a good weekend. I have had a very good weekend. Managed to watch some football for a change. I watched the mighty Celtic win on Saturday, and then had the displeasure of watching the shitey Rangers win yesterday. And in doing so, I also watched Arsenal versus Chelsea, and I was sort of glad to see Arsenal beat Chelsea. I'm not a big Chelsea lover at all. Morrison Forndran brush, I'm just going to give that just a quick rinse. Now it is caked in lather, it really is, there's so much lather still on this brush. Stephen, the Suffolk shaver, was also saying about making sure that I look after it and give it a brush with a sort of white tooth comb, which I've never had to do before with any other brushes, but I might have to look into it for this one, just given the cost of it, really. And I went and did my usual and ran out of space on my phone. Now, I thought that was a weeper down there, but I think it is actually just nicked, but it's a spot. It's either that or a big ingrown hair. But other than that, great. So the theirs is pretty much dried in now. I've just cleaned the brush out and I think it's pretty much soap free now, which is great. I'll just show you it. I've just pushed it to this, so you can see it's pushed way over to the side, but you can really get a look at the tips on it then. Just got it, it's really nice. I mean, it's super dense, I've got to say. So I do this a lot lighter when I'm using this brush. I think I lost 2 hairs in the tub that time, and that was it. But this brush, once it actually dries, I can actually pull it out pretty much to where it goes. You can obviously see from the photograph at the start of the video, but it pretty much dries like that and it just looks amazing. It really does. And it smells better with each lather, just absorbing all those scents. It's just incredible brush. I'm starting to really want it. It'll never pull me away from synthetics, but it's definitely a brush that I'd be happy to lather with and use for my natural hair days when I want to use a natural hair brush. Not natural hair as in I have any, because I'm pretty much bald, as you can see. Okay, I'm going to finish off now with Stray Whisker Afterbalm. I haven't used this for a little while. It's a tiny little bit like that, you don't need a lot of it. It's excellent stuff, it absorbs very quickly. It's got a beautiful little bit of menthol. Oh, that's a big difference on my chin from when I've been using this single edge razor all the time. Because although I got to 21 shaves, I would say every shave after sort of shave 7 or 8, it got less and less hair off my chin. Right, so the soap, oh, it smells great. That's what it looks like once it's sort of, I've took all the soap off the top of it. This was sent to me from Olivier Chapel over in New York, so thanks very much, mate. You sent that many nice products. Holy Call, Donkey Milk, Fougere Bouquet, beautiful scent. This is my favourite tub so far that Sri has made. It's a solid tub, it really is. It's the exact same tub basically that Magard use for their soaps, that Barrister Man are using at the moment. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else that's using it that I can think of, but I don't think there is. I think they're probably the only 3 that use them that I've seen use these tubs. Oh, Mickey Lee Soap Works as well. So excellent tubs, great presentation. I love this colour of label that it does. I think it looks great. Love the colours of it. I don't like the bright yellow ones for the vegan, but that's a minor thing. His soap's incredible, so I can't really argue about that. The brush, as you've already seen, the Morrison Forndran, superb. Really getting to grips with it, starting to learn how to use it, and like I've explained in the video, I've finally got an idea of how it actually works with a natural hair brush, because I didn't know, and even from watching several videos over the last year, I've never come across someone explain it to me like that, to the point that I can actually understand and not pick a brush up and think it's shit when it could actually be pretty good. The Fatboy. G1 is the code, no idea what that is. I'm pretty sure there's guys out there that have got all the codes to memory and will probably pop it down below. But it's a great little razor, works perfectly, really does, works great. Had the Gillette stainless blade in there for the first use. I'll keep that in there now, I'll give that a few goes in here, just keeping Gillette with Gillette. Started on setting 9 for 3 passes and setting 5 for the last pass, and it was super smooth. I really enjoyed it, and I have to say, it's a better shave than I've had for this from probably the last 10 or so shaves with the Gem single edge. It definitely is a cleaner cut. The thinner blade allows you to cut a lot closer to the skin, in my opinion. It was still smooth, but it wasn't as smooth as a single edge, but that was very, very smooth still. It really highlights how smooth those Gem razors are for me. There's lavender, and then we finished off with good old Stray Whisker Afterbalm from Con Kazantzidis on the back there, pointing at you to buy one. Really good, excellent stuff. Picked this up in a large batch that I bought from someone in Perth. And other than that, guys, that's me done and dusted. I really enjoyed that. I hope you did as well. I mean, that's a super shave. It's a better shave than my last sort of 10-15 shaves on the single edge in terms of closeness. I mean, I'm really close today with that. I've managed to use it on setting 9 with no real, in fact I've not really got any irritation. I've got no, this is my usual stuff. But other than that, I've talked a lot of shit for long enough. I hope you guys enjoyed that, I really did. And I'll catch you guys next time. Stay safe, drive safe, don't drink and drive, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.